and it's a go. I know we don't have everyone yet, but today we're going to be doing Treasury. Well, it could be. We're going to be doing a governance action. That's all I'm going to say. They're all pretty much very similar, so yeah. Recording is
Okay.
started.
So up to now, like what was the governance that passed this week? That we took over, Sancho. That.
Oh, right. Yes. Let me just show you first, because my instances are not ready. Um,
And then one thing that I didn't understood is after we passed the how you call it, like the minimum requirement or the minimum stake for SPOs and DREPs, does it automatically like gets enacted or somebody needs to like do something?
it depends on the governance action. So, for our specific case, if you do what we needed to do to get in the CC was an update constitutional committee governance action, and we needed the SPOs and the CC. No, the SPOs and the DREPs vote for it. And once this happened, once both thresholds are crossed, then the very same epoch boundary, the vote is tallied, and when this is done, the governance action is ratified on chain, and one epoch later, it is enacted, and our set of script hash, which represents our CC credential, are on chain, and we can use the features that's for the CC to authorize our hot credentials and vote as officially the constitutional committee on chain.
Okay.
So,
and that ratification process happens automatically?
Yep. Layer 1.
Okay.
That's all layer 1, man.
So you didn't do anything. You didn't have to do anything for
Nope.
it to.
I
Okay.
put it there. You guys voted on it. It passed. And
The thresholds, and then the next epoch, it's when it's ratified.
the epoch boundary, yes. So let's say that we're on epoch N, and whoa, boom, that's it. We've passed the last threshold of DREP or SPO.
SPOs,
Then the very same epoch boundary, the vote is tallied, it is ratified, and then one epoch boundary later, so the next epoch boundary after, it's enacted and we are in the CC. But on Central Nets, it's a 1 day epoch, so it has been done very fast in 2 days.
Okay.
And that's it. We made it. We are in the CC. And the same governance action, within the same governance action, this is where you set their threshold as well. So you can change the threshold through only that governance action. It's not a protocol parameter that you can change through a protocol parameter change governance action. You have to go through an update committee governance action to change the constitutional committee voting threshold.
Okay.
Within the same governance action, what I did on CentralNet, we've set the threshold, the voting threshold, to 50%. So either us or Samuel vote on something, it passes.
Okay. And then what prevents from someone else to try to take us over?
Nothing.
They just need the test ADA, enough test ADA and enough SPOs to vote on it, and
Yep.
that's. Oh, okay.
It's the same on mainnet. The very same on main. Tomorrow, someone with enough knowledge, because they did Mike's workshops and everything, submit an update committee. Tomorrow I could submit an update committee governance action with no elections, nothing. I don't care about those shits. Let's do it, right? And you do it. If the SPOs are for it and the DREPs vote for it, it passes. Literally on layer 1, nobody can do anything about it. CF, Charles.
Oh my
anyone.
gosh.
It passes, and you are an official constitutional committee member. That's the community who decides. The community decides. That's literally what it is. That's pretty cool. Anyway,
Okay.
yeah, let's do it. Now, governance actions. I wish I had my presentation there. I just don't have it. Okay, first things first. I'm gonna make this bigger. CentroNet. So now I have a node here. Normally I do have a node. So I have a running node, right? And it's synchronized. So I can query the actual ledger state and see if we're part of the construct committee. So if I do cardinal CLI, Conway command, query command, I want the gov slash dash state of the system, and I'm gonna output it out file into a file that I'm gonna call gov state.json. That's done. I can go into it with let's say Vim. There you go. We have the entire governance state of the system, and you can see here right at the top that our script hash is part of the constitutional committee, and we have along with it the term length. So we will be in the constitutional committee until epoch 1000.
Oh, and do you know if there's a maximum?
Yes, and it's right here.
Oh. And what about the threshold?
It's right here.
Yeah, that one. So it's 50%. What happens if you change it to like 99%?
Well, then you nearly need all of us. If it was 99%, I would need as well Samuel.
So all the okay. It's a threshold for the members of this committee.
Yes.
Not all the DREPs and all the SPOs of the network.
No.
Okay.
Because within the governance state, you also have access to the actual governance state of the system. So you have the current state here with all the protocol parameters that's right below it. So you have all of them. They're literally there. You can see here cost model, Plutus V1, Plutus V2, Plutus V3, and right below it you have the rest of all protocol parameters. All of them. They're right all here, and along with everyone's threshold, the DREP voting thresholds for each governance action types. You have the committee normal, committee no confidence, because it's not the same threshold depending on the governance state. So if you want to do an update committee governance action, you have two different thresholds. There's one threshold that is when everything goes normal, just like what we did, and there's one threshold for when we just recently passed a motion of no confidence. So this threshold for now is slightly lower because we want to restore the situation as soon as possible. It's slightly easier to do it. What else do we have? Hard forks, motion of no confidence, of course, like I mentioned before. The 4 groups of protocol parameters, technical, network, they're separated in different groups, and within all these groups there is protocol parameters that are there as well on the same list that we see here. And treasury withdrawals, update to the constitution, which has the highest threshold, and all those thresholds that we see here are the very same than the ones we have on mainnet.
Got it.
And this is only for DREPs, so that's why you have it's not an array, but it's well, technically I like to see it as an array, but it's not. But anyway, what else? Where are the pool thresholds in there? There's no pool thresholds. It's right here, just slightly lower. Here, pool voting thresholds on everything they can vote. Committee no confidence, committee normal. Well, they're all at 51% because of our recommendation that we did within that I participated in doing within the governance protocol parameter committee working group. So that's part of our recommendations. This can change. We can change it. So everything's there, including the next ratification state. So if we ratify something, it's going to be seen there. So you will be able to see the governance action that's been ratified, or if you change the value of the protocol parameter, you will see it here, and you will be able to compare it with the current parameter that we have. So if we make a change and it's not yet enacted, you will see it here. So you got, again, the entire list of protocol parameters. And you also have access to the previously enacted governance actions along with their governance action ID. So as you can see here, we have committee. And here, this is the governance action ID that we did. And the reason why there's that is because when you submit a governance action, some governance actions type, you need to specify within the governance action the previous governance actions ID. So it's a kind of way to chain those governance actions types so they don't clash together. So what it means is that if me, Mike, do an update committee governance action, and you do another one on your side and it's separate from mine, but mine passes and yours don't, then yours becomes invalid, because my governance action that passed automatically becomes the new previous one, and the governance actions ID that you provided with your governance action, it makes it invalid automatically. So it will eventually expire and you will get your money back. And you got the previous governance protocol parameters, governance state, previous params, same thing. And at the very end of it, you have the active proposals. So you got all proposals that are right now on chain, along with the governance action ID with its index, the numbers of vote that's done on it, its expiration, the anchor, so the rationale that comes with it, along with its hash. So here we have an info action, its deposit. If I want to go see it, it's Ryan's governance action. So I could copy it and let's go paste it here, and I will have access to its metadata rationale.
And those are for proposals that are currently open?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, they have an expiration, and the expiration is set according to the to the governance action lifetime. According to the governance action lifetime protocol parameter value. So if I remember well, it is I think it's 6. Let's see. Governance action lifetime. Oh yeah, it's 60 on CentralNet because it's 1 epoch a day. But on mainnet it's 6 epochs, so that's 6 epochs of 5 days. So somewhere around a month, like give or take. So yeah, you got all information you want. An info action, it's the same. No, it's the same one. Okay, I wanna have one different. So anyway, it's just, you know, you're used to JSON, right? It's just it's the same pattern. Governance action ID. You have all the fields that come with it, and that's it. You have the numbers of vote and who voted on it and what they voted on. So here, this one has no votes from stake pools or D-reps or committee. So nobody voted on it yet. We could vote on it if we had a D-rep, or, well, depending on, it's an info action, so everyone can vote on it. We had one that had vote though. This one had one. You see here, there's a yes vote from a D-rep, no vote from the committee, and no vote from the stake pools.
The committee being us now.
Us and Samuel. He's still in there.
Ah,
The,
he's still in there.
yes, the governance action that I did, I could have removed him if I wanted to. So within the governance action update committee, you can add yourself. You can remove anyone too. But I did not because I wanted, obviously, I wanted it to pass. And Samuel usually doesn't hold us from doing degen stuff on CentralNet because they like it. If we find stuff, if we find bugs and things that needs to be fixed, they love it, right?
Which you have, right? You have found.
Yes, for that led to 10.1.4. I found an exploit. I'm gonna call it like that. Or,
Yeah, I remember the 10.4.2 was because of you.
10.1.4. The one we have right now.
Okay.
Before the one we rushed before Chang.
Got it. Yeah.
Yes. It didn't help me get more people on my workshops. But anyway.
Yeah, because they didn't want to tell everyone that they found a bug.
What's that?
Probably they didn't want to tell everyone that you found a bug.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too much into that, but they have their ways. I didn't mind, I guess, that they. Oh, anyway. I didn't mind if they mentioned me, but I would understand if some people might not feel too comfortable about it, I guess. I mean, it's technically good. If you find something that's probably possibly damaging, and they fix it, then it's even better to convince people to take the upgrade. Right? I mean, if you knew that your node would allow something bad to happen, would you upgrade it if we made a fix? I'm guessing the obvious answer is yes. But we couldn't talk too much about it because we obviously didn't want nobody to perform this vulnerability. So it's like it's conflicting thing to do. Here we have an IPFS link and it's an info action. So we only have info actions right now on chain, on CentralNet. And they're all info actions. And the reason why we don't see the one I just did to get on the committee is because it has passed. So when it passes, it's ratified and enacted, it gets removed from the ledger state. And you get paid back. You get your deposit back, which is 100,000 fake ADA. So if we want to propose something now, what do we do?
Quick question. So
Yes.
the treasury withdrawal that everybody's talking about right now on mainnet, it will be posted as one of those, but instead of an info action, it will be something else?
It will be a treasury withdrawal type. Yes.
Okay, that's a type, okay.
Yep. Here, yeah, we have 7 different types.
7, okay.
Yeah, so you got info actions, everyone can vote on it. Treasury withdrawals, only the reps and the control committee can vote on it. And the field would be different. But if you allow me, we'll just do it and we can look it up after, since we have a synchronized node. So as soon as I submit it, it's available to see for everyone. So we can just do that. But first, I'm not going to go through the explanations on how to derive your seed phrase, how to derive your keys from a seed phrase, because we've done a video like that already. What I can do is show you where it is. So if you go to YouTube and you type on YouTube Mike Hornan, you will see here the channel. So you click on the channel and then you're going to look for the playlist. Let me go into playlist and you look for CentralNet test guide and command line interface. And from there, of course, you're gonna have the first video. Maybe I can show just the playlist itself. There it is. And on that list, if you scroll down, you will see generate keys from your seed phrase. That video. So if you click on that, on this video that's 30 minutes long, we explain how to derive your keys from a mnemonic phrase. So let's say you have an eternal wallet, for example, and you have a seed phrase with that wallet, and you want to use the money that's in it to submit a governance action through the CLI. You can derive those keys directly on your terminal using the Cardinal Signer tools, and that's what we explain on this video. So I'm not going to go through that again, but what I can say is do not ever, never do that on a computer that's connected to internet. Don't ever do that, because you will lose your keys. Because the keys that you derive from that seed phrase, they're plain text. They're literally usable by everyone without the seed phrase. So if you lose those keys, you lose control over your wallet. Do not do that online. You create your own cold environment, you disconnect it forever from the internet, and on that cold environment, you use the Cardinal CLI binary tools, and from there you generate your keys from the mnemonic of your wallet. And
quick question.
Yes.
When you say keys, are you referring to like the DREP keys?
Any keys you want. You can. It depends on the deriving path. We explained it too on this video, I think. I'm gonna go through it again. But yeah, you can generate from that seed phrase. You can generate DREP keys, payment keys, staging keys.
Okay. So all the type of keys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what happens in the background when you use your Eternal wallet, for example. You want to be a DREP. It generates DREP keys from the very same seed phrase, from the same mnemonic, and then you use those newly made keys to be a DREP, and this is what you register on chain through the GovTool website that you have, and through the wallet itself. In the case of Eternal, but you can use the same seed phrase from your terminal, and you derive your keys because you do have the seed phrase, so you do have the control over that, and you derive the same set of keys from that seed phrase, and with those keys you can build your transaction offline and create a governance action through the CLI, and this is what we will do today. Well, that part. The governance action creation part. So if you want to know how to derive your seed phrase from a mnemonic, I would refer you to that video that I showed you there. That's already on my playlist. But of course, let me remind you again, do not ever generate your keys from the mnemonic on a hot environment. Please. So you build your own environment offline, everything offline. You disconnect it forever from the internet. You uninstall every kernels and modules that's gonna make it know that internets exist. And if you're even more paranoiac, you can ban it from your own home router or whatever network you have. So you can just put literally your MAC address into the blacklist to be 100% sure that. But anyway, all setups are different, and I'm not going to touch to that, because I believe that if you don't know how to create a cold environment, and maybe we can talk about it later, but you should probably not spend 100,000 ADA on a deposit to build a governance action. My suggestions, but that's just me. Yeah, so let's do it. So let's say that I derived my payment keys on my terminal, that's offline, directly from my mnemonic, because I watched that video. So I'm going to go into my keys, and I should have my payment verification key and payment signing key, as along with the stake verification key and my stake signing key on my offline environment. And from that, I can build my governance action. And this is what we'll do. But first, I need to bring to my cold environment some information. So specifically, I need the UTXO of my address, right? Of my payment address. So how do I get that? Normally, when I derive my keys from the mnemonic phrase, it comes with the address. So if I cat payment.addr, I can see my address. That's here. And I want to see the UTXO that's linked to that address. So the command is Cardano CLI, Conway command. It's a query command. And I'm going to do UTXO. I want to see the UTXO. And one of the options, dash dash, I need to specify the address. And my address, I want to see the content. So let's see the content of my payment.addr key. And this has to be done online. That's the thing, because you query the node. So every query commands that you do have to be online. So you have to remember that the payment.addr, you can, from your call environment, you take it, you bring it online to do your query command. This is all you need. Leave your private keys on the call environment, but you need to move the address over to the an online node to be able to query the UTXO that's in it. And if I want to, I could literally just press enter and I have my UTXO along with the amount of Loveless that's attached to each one of them. So you could just copy paste that into a text document that you will move over to your call environment, or you could just specify dash dash out file. We'll call it payment.utxo. And if I do that, then I have a file to move to my call environment in JSON file. It's in JSON.
Nice. And then do you select either one or one specifically?
One specifically, what do you mean?
So you have two UTXOs.
Oh, you just move them all over. You have access to all your...
Yeah, but are you going to use both of them or are you going to use just one of them?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. When you submit some governance actions, especially treasury withdrawals, you do have to run the Constitution guardrail script, right? Because there's a guardrail. If the value that you submit are going past the guardrails, especially for protocol parameter change values, right? We have a guardrail. We have maximum, minimum for each one of them. You know, there's some limits. If I go cross that, I won't be able to submit my governance action on chain. So I do have to, as a requirement, to submit my governance actions and run that smart contract script. So when you run a script, what do you need? You need the collateral. So I will need a collateral UTXO, which should not be the same. And we're not going to spend it, but it has to be there. The only reason why we would spend it is if something happened, right? And we still have to pay the SPOs from running the smart contract, even though it failed, which rarely happens, but it's possible. So we need a collateral for that. And this is what this UTXO here is for. But let's say you don't have two UTXO, right? You only have one. Well, you can always just transact to yourself. You could, well, we could do it real quick. Why not? We could build a transaction. So let's say I'm online, right? But no, yeah, that would be complicated. I would just send more money to just send 58
Yeah, that's
15 ADA to
easier.
that address. It's just going to create a new UTXO, because every time you send money to someone, you create a brand new UTXO. It's an output, and that output is pretty much the transaction ID with an index, depending on the order of the outputs. So if you have 5 outputs, all those 5 outputs have the same governance section ID, have the same transaction ID, and they all have a different index. So I'm sending money to Sevens, I'm sending money to Bob, and the change of that UTXO that I spent, I send it back to myself. So I got 3 UTXO output. So starting with 0, if you are on the top of the list, you would have that transaction ID plus 0. So that would be your UTXO on your address, and Bob would have the same transaction ID with an index 1, and I would have the index 3. So this is what it's for here. I hope it makes sense. So once you have that, so this is what you need offline. You need your UTXO of your payment address to build your transaction. This is all you need. This and the governance state, because for some cases you would need to have the state of the governance, because especially for treasury withdrawals, because of governance action chaining, you will need to have the hash of the previous governance action ID of the same type. So if we already did no, wait, forget what I said. That doesn't count for treasury withdrawals. You don't need to provide that for treasury withdrawals, but you would for other governance action types like protocol parameter change. Yeah, that's tricky, eh? But yeah. Should we just cover the treasury withdrawal for now?
Yes.
We should do one for each, actually, and I should like make it like super short and sweet. Like, okay, step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. Step 3, this, and there you go. But yeah, eventually. But there's so much I can do with unpaid work. Okay, we have our UTXO that we can carry offline. So make sure you format USB pen, encrypt your stuff, GPG, whatever you like, put it in there, make it safe, transfer it to your cold environment. One more thing you need to provide to the cold environment is the governance state, what we just did. So if I go back into my command, we have the Cardano CLI Conway query gov state. Got it right here. Press enter. We have a file that's called, I called it like that, but you can call it whatever you like, govstate.json. So that's the actual state of the governance. We bring that over as well on our cold environment, because if we need to specify the previous governance action, we have it. Okay. What else do we need? We need the constitution script hash. Okay, we need that too. So specifically, we could query it on chain if we wanted to. Cardano CLI Conway, and in the Conway commands, sorry, you can see there's governance, there's query. I'm going to go into query again, and in the query command you can see, I hope it's still there, community state constitution right here. We can query the constitution, so let's query it. Constitution, and you got the constitution itself along with its script hash. So you will need this. You need the script hash, because when you build a transaction, you have to specify in the governance action, within some governance actions, treasury withdrawals and protocol parameter change, you need to specify the script hash, because you are going to run the script with the transaction as you submit this governance action. And it's going to validate on chain if the hash of your script, of your guardrail script, is the same than the one that's on chain. to make sure that you're running the valid script of the Constitution guardrail, along with your governance action, to make sure that it checks if the value that you submit are within the guardrail. That's a lot. But anyway, you need that too. What else? What else do we need? We need the script itself, because we're going to build the transaction offline. So where do we get the script? Where do we get the guardrail script? For now, we do have one, right? We do have a guardrail script. So where is it? Where exactly is that script? So if we want to see it, a quick and easy way would be to go to cardano.org website, because that's where everyone goes usually when they look for something. You go into developer tab, start building, and then here you go to developer portal, get started, and on the left side you go to Cardano node, running Cardano node, and if you scroll down just a little bit, you will see here the Cardano operation book environment. Click on that, and depending on your network, for us it's CentroNet, but if it's mainnet you could go on mainnet, but we're doing it on Centro, so let's go to Centro testnet, and if I scroll down, I have the compiled guardrail script right here, and you will have, whoops, oh really, okay, I thought I could see it. Alright, never mind then. Thought I was going to show it. I have the compiled guardrail script, and this is what I'm going to use offline, because I'm going to have to put my guardrail script in the transaction as I build it offline, and I will sign it offline. And when I will bring the signed transaction along with the script and everything that I need, and the governance action file with it signed offline, I'll bring it online and I will submit it, so everything should go fine. This is something you can also build online with the transaction build command, and it's actually easier to do it like that because the transaction build command will calculate your fees for you, and it will also calculate the execution units and everything that you need to run the script. It will calculate it for you, because if you do that offline instead, you will have to specify the execution units, which is memory and CPU. So you will need some knowledge to do that. But it's okay to do it online. You can build your transaction online, and you move your transaction body file offline to sign it with your keys. So as long as your private key stays offline all the time, right? So we can do it like that. It's the easiest way, actually. Let's do it like that. Okay, CentroNet now. So we have everything, even the UTXO. We have it online. If you want to build offline, you can bring it offline. If you want to build the transaction online, you can. As long as you sign it offline and you verify what you sign, very important. I'll show you how. Okay. So now I'm Mike. Do I have enough money in my address to I did a query there. Do I have enough money on my payment address? Oh, I'm lazy. I just want to see it now. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 98. I have 98,000. I don't have enough. Sniffle, sniffle. But nice thing is, I did a governance action. It passed. So normally I should have my deposit back. But where is it? It's not in there.
Your stake address?
Yes. Yes.
I just guessed that, to be honest.
No, that's correct.
Because I was like, where else? Yeah.
That's exactly it. When you submit a governance action, you get paid back through your stake address, because you have to specify it in the governance action. So, how much money I got in my reward address? Let's go see it. Cardano CLI. Conway command. Query command, and I want to see my stake dash address dash info. Change line. What do I have to specify? I have to specify the address. Oh, let's do the address, which is, in my case, the content of my stake.addr file. I have a stake address in there, right? And when you derive your keys, it's also going to give you your address. So there you go. Oh my God, so much money! Look at that. So obviously I will have to withdraw that money first, right? So what I could do, I could build a transaction to do exactly that, right? Let's do it. Cardano CLI, Conway, transaction build. Transaction build. All right, let's do it. What would it be? Y00. Transaction input. What do I have? Oh, actually, wait. Might be better to just put it in on a small notepad. Don't save that. Okay. Maybe I could put that here, and maybe I could just like this. All right. And I'll just copy this. Paste it here. Without that. Okay, there you go. All right, let's do it like that. There you go. Transaction in. So transaction in, I'm going to have to spend the UTXO because it's a transaction. So I'm going to spend that UTXO. So I'll copy it. My transaction in is going to be the UTXO I want to spend. Hashtag the index, which is 0. It's index. Okay, cool. I got my transaction in. All right. Break line up. Dash dash. What else do I need? I need my change address because I want to have the change back. So what would it be? It would be the content of my payment.addr. Okay, cool. I don't need to specify the amount because it's a transaction build. It will determine automatically the amount. Okay, what else? What else do I need? I want to do a withdrawal. Okay, I want to do a withdrawal. What do I specify now?
The amount, maybe?
Yeah, but from where?
From your reward address.
My reward address, exactly. So the content of my stake.addr plus the amount. So I'll grab the amount here, copy, paste. Break line. Withdrawal, I just don't remember if it's with an H. I think so.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cool. That's my biggest problem. The French guy doesn't know how to write in English. Anyway, what else do I need? What else do I need?
The transaction out, maybe?
Yes, good point. Transaction out because I want a body file. Oh, wait, that's out file. Out file. I'm going to call it transaction.raw, or it could be body.json, whatever you like. Okay, cool. I got my transaction out. Do I need something else?
And then something needs to sign it, no?
That's not yet.
You're just building the raw transaction?
Just the body file.
Okay.
The unwitnessed body file. Okay, I got the transaction in, the change address, which will technically be our transaction out. Okay, so one in, one out. Withdrawal. Okay, cool. What else? Nothing. Okay, I think I got everything. Not sure. We could try it. We'll try it. Oh my god, it works. Damn. So I got the fees. I got my body file ready.
Software never works in the first time. This is so weird.
It's because I'm used to it. Okay, what else? Now we have to sign it, right? But do we sign what we don't know? Okay, let's say I build that online, right? So I would need to sign it offline. So technically that file here, transaction raw, I need to bring it offline. Oh my god. Okay, fine. You grab the thing, bring it offline. Do you sign it? What tells you that, okay, you created the file and then I've put in my USB pen, GPG and everything, but what if someone played with it and changed its content? Real quick, using a script or a malware that's on your computer, you would like to see what you sign. So you have it offline, you want to make sure that, is it really going back to my address? Or it's going back to some grifter scammer address? I don't know. How do I know? So online you have the content of your payment address here. So you have it there. So normally if I check that transaction, the output should be this, right? You want the output to be this. So I'm offline now. I brought my file offline, my body file, and I'm ready to sign it. I want to sign it. So let's go see it. Cardano CLI, the command is on the most recent version. If you want to see your transaction, it's not a Conway command, it's a debug command. Why? I don't know. Cardano CLI debug, transaction, view. And then, as one of the options, you have to specify the TX transaction body file, which is the content of no, actually you could just specify the file, transaction.raw. Enter. Oh my god, look at that, so much information. Okay, what do we have here? We have an input, and if we had a governance action, you would see it here in this array. But we have the input, which is the UTXO that I specified. Okay, cool. We also have output, which is the address here that you need to check. That's the right address. Cool. So I'm sending money back to myself. Awesome. The amount, which is the amount calculated of the UTXO you spend, along with the total reward that you specified. Cool, cool. Okay, that's good. That's good. Stake reference. You got, all right, cool, cool, cool. And you have a withdrawal here that's specified with the amount that you withdraw from your reward address. Okay, what else do we have? Nothing else. Seems legit. All right, I'm going to sign this. I like it.
So, quick question: what's the content of the transaction.raw? If it's like gibberish.
No, that's what it is. That's what I just did.
No, but right now you use the Cardano CLI transaction view thing. But if you just cat tx.raw.
Oh, yes. Good point. Good point. Good point.
Oh, it's just Libor X.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Cardano files are always made this way. So again, you might want to check that, but Linux environment, if you don't make your file executable, there's not much risk for, well, I mean, I shouldn't say that, but normally the content of your USB pen shouldn't be executable, right? So make sure you double check that. But again, it's a CBOR. But I use a command, Cardano CLI command.
It's incredible that he got all this information from that CBOR line, right? Because everything is encrypted there, so it's like kind of incredible. Yeah.
So okay, that's fine. I'm all for it. Nothing's wrong with my transaction. I want to sign it. I'm offline. I brought my body file offline, so let's sign it. I got my keys, right? Of course. So Cardano CLI. That's a Conway command. Transaction sign. Whoops, my bad. Transaction sign. Oh, maybe I should just like do this and make it bigger for you guys, like that. Cardinal CLI Conway transaction sign. What do I need to provide? Well, probably my transaction body file that I want to sign. Transaction.draw. Okay. Break line. What else? My signing key. Yeah, sure. Signing key file, which is my payment.s key. Okay, cool. But I'm withdrawing money from my stake address. And the payment address is to pay to spend the UTXO, but I also need to provide my stake key because I'm withdrawing money from my stake address, from my reward address. So I will need to provide signing key file. I will need to provide my stake.s key, my stake signing key. Oh wait, typo in there. Stake. Okay, my stake signing key. What else? Nothing. Normally you should specify the... No, I'm not going to go through there. Okay, cool. I think I have everything. Out file. And it's going to be my transaction file, not the body file, the transaction file. So transaction.signed. Alright, cool. I got it. Cool. It's signed, offline. Perfect. If I want to double check it, I can do it with the same command. Cardinal CLI debug transaction view, but instead of the transaction body file, I just want the transaction file. And the name of my transaction file is transaction.signed. And if I check it, it's the very same information that I had, but along with the witness of my two keys. Okay, cool. Seems legit. So I'm taking that transaction file that I just made on a safe USB pen, formatted, right? GPG, all your stuff, boom, 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 encryptions, and you bring it to your hot environment. That transaction file is insensitive because you're only providing the witness of your keys with it. It's important. It's unsensitive. You can share it to anyone. They cannot change the content of it, because if they change its content and try to submit it, it's not going to work because you provided the witness of that file. If you change a single thing on that transaction, address, amount of money, anything, those witnesses will be invalid. Cool. All right. I have the witness of my keys and everything. I brought it online. What do I need to do? On a running node, I want to submit it on chain in the mempool. So I will do a Cardano CLI Conway transaction submit command. What do I need to provide? I need to provide the transaction file, which is transaction.signed. What else? Normally I would probably need to specify the network, but I already modified my .bashrc file, so I don't need to specify it every time. I can show you that maybe another time. There's some stuff you need to provide. You need to provide the socket path of your node and also the network ID that you're going to submit it, where you're going to submit the network ID of the network you're using, but that's already been specified in my .bash file, .bash RC file, sorry. Okay, so transaction submit, the transaction file itself, enter. Oh wow, that's it. Now it's in the mempool. So I just have to wait for a block producer to grab my transaction, put it in the block, and that's it. If I query again my UTXO, I should see a brand new UTXO with the amount of money that's now much bigger. So the reason why we have 2 now is because I spent 1 and I generated 1 along with the money of my stake address. So you still have that UTXO that I haven't spent, which I will use for the collateral of our next transaction, and the one that's just recently been created, which is the content of my transaction ID. So the nice thing about this is that if you build everything offline, you don't need every time to bring the UTXO back to your call environment, because you can do transaction chaining, which means that if it's just one output, one input, one output, and I have those UTXOs offline, I can do before submitting or even after, it doesn't matter. Cardinal CLI Conway transaction, and the command is transaction ID. And if I do that and I specify the transaction, could be the body file or the file. I'm going to use the transaction file. Transaction file, which is tx.signed, I get the transaction ID, which is the same as your UTXO. So you know that it's one input, one output. So if you're the only output, you will know automatically that its index is 0. So you can use that for your next transaction. And you never went offline ever. Online ever. You built your transaction offline, you signed it offline, you submit it online, and you already know, without bringing back again the UTXO online to offline, you already know what is your next UTXO and the amount. And that's the joy and the one of the major advantage of the UTXO model. You always know the outcome of your transaction in advance. So you can determine the UTXO that's going to end up at the end of your transaction, and you can already use it. You could build a series of transactions in advance. So from that UTXO, I can build the next 10, 12, 20 transactions in advance and submit them on chain consecutively, and it would work. It would work without even ever endangering your private keys that lives offline. Fantastic. All right. I didn't even get to the governance action building part. It's already 9. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm providing too much information. That's the problem. That's my problem. I shouldn't be too specific. Oh, governance action. Okay. You guys want to do this another time, or we just no? I said I was going to do that. Because there's some information I need to provide. Maybe it's going to take longer. We should do that another time. Because, okay, wait. I'll just summarize it for the next time. Okay. I want to build a governance action. I have no idea how to do it. What do I do? What's the command? How the hell should I know that command, right? I mean, like, I've did some command there. How do you know, Mike? How do you know? How do you know? There's 2 ways to know. The first way, which I believe is the best one ever, just kidding. You go to ablepool.io website. That's terrible. Into document tab, and you look for the Cardinal CLI cheat sheet, and you have there all single commands of the CLI. Okay. It's zoomable. It's super nice. It's it's a great tool. It's the version of the CLI.
Of the CLI, okay.
Yes, and it's an old one. Some of those commands still work, and the way I made it is that you can literally, like, it's 200 pixel by 200 pixel per square per square inch. So don't worry, it's not gonna blur. You can zoom it as much as you like. And I've separated the commands on this one. The green is Byron, the blue is Legacy, and the red is Conway. And most of the commands we're going to use is Conway's command. So if you, for example, you want to build a governance action, you would go into the governance action section. Cardinal CLI Conway governance action is right there, and you got all 7 types. And per types, there is all the options that comes with it and the values that you need to specify. So what's in the angle brackets is the value itself. So if I want to create an info action, you need to specify the mainnet or testnet as an option. If that's not already specified in your .bashrc file, the governance action deposit with the amount, the deposit return stake verification key, or the file, or the key hash, or the script file, or the stake address. Because you know your stake address can be a script, right? If you have a multisig stake address, you can do that. So if you guys co-found, for example, a governance action, the stake address that's going to be the return address can be a multi-signature stake address. You can do that. And the anchor URL and the hash, which is going to be your rationale. And the option out file, because you need a file to submit within a transaction, because you have to submit that governance action on chain. It's just an example. You can use that to build your transaction, or you can directly on your terminal look for those commands. So if I do cardinal CLI, I will see all available commands here. So I have all the top functions, which are the errors, and we're mostly going to use Conway. Okay, cardinal CLI, cool. Cardinal CLI Conway, and then what? Then enter. And then you have all the subcommands of Conway. Address, key, genesis, governance, and the explanation of all those commands. Cool. Okay, up arrow. So I know it's in Conway command. Most likely governance, right? So governance. Governance. And what is it? Governance. Governance command. Okay, let's go see it. Alright, enter, and you got all governance command. You have action, committee, derep, vote. It's probably going to be action, right? Action. Cardinal CLI, Conway, governance, action. Enter. Okay, what do we have now? The sub command. Alright, we have create constitution, update committee, create info, create no confidence, protocol parameter, treasury withdrawal, hard fork, and view. The view command if you want to see it, because you're creating an action file, a governance action file. You can view it just like you can look at your transaction file itself. So if you count, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have access to them all within your node, within the CLI. No third party, no GovTool, no Tempo, no whatever. It's your node. It's your CLI. Offline. Your own stuff. It's much better, but more complicated. Yeah, governance actually, governance is a fucking nice game. It just has shitty graphics. But anyway, what do? Want to do a treasury withdrawal. Okay, I want to do a treasury withdrawal. Create treasury withdrawal. All right. Then what's next? Governance action, treasury withdrawal. Okay, enter. Oh, so now I have access to the options. So my top command is written here. Governance action ID, Cardinal CLI Conway governance action, create treasury withdrawals, and all I need to provide is here. And the rules of those brackets are specified within the infographic that I had here. If you do not know how this works, you have a nice little whoa. Hold on there. You have a nice here little tutorial how to build a command. And here in the legend, you have explanations for all those brackets. So you have to know that parentheses within a command they represent mandatory option. You have to specify them. If you don't, you will get an error. Square brackets are optional, so you do not need to provide those options. And the angle brackets is what defines the type of information that you need to provide. So for example, the value of governance section deposit, whatever, I used angle brackets to make it simple. So again, if I go back here, you will see that parentheses are mandatory. So you need to specify as an option mainnet or testnet, which in my case has already been specified within my .bash rc file, so I don't need to write it. If I still write it, it's still gonna work. If you don't have it in your bash rc file, just write it. Okay, cool. Let's do it real quick, and that's gonna be the last thing I do today. All right, I'm gonna put it somewhere where it doesn't block the site. Cardano, CLI, Conway. That was, why does Conway, governance, action, create. That's treasury. And this is how you're going to build it. Treasury withdrawal. And should I mention that I'm not responsible for the community reaction to your governance action? I'm just here to show you the technical aspect of it. So I'm not responsible for your rationale and everything that's related to your governance action. Thank you. All right. Mainnet. Because I want to do that on mainnet. All right. Let's break the line. What else is required? If there is no parenthesis or bracket, like the governance section deposit natural, it is mandatory. So if you want to create a governance section, you need to obviously have a deposit for that, because we don't want to spam the chain. Oh, my bad. Okay, so I need to provide that governance section deposit and the amount, which is in our case, what? Yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I remember that at the beginning, when people started submitting governance actions, some of the submitters lost their deposit.
Yes.
Why did that happen? So it doesn't happen to us.
Very important. Exactly. Okay. Here's the thing. When your governance action gets ratified, enacted, or expired, where does the money get back?
To the stake key, stake
key.
address.
What happens if your stake key is not registered on chain?
You cannot withdraw your rewards.
No. If your stake key is not registered on chain,
I don't know.
The money.
Then it can't find its way back.
It can't find its way back. It doesn't know.
It doesn't exist, kinda.
It will send the money back to the treasury.
Because you're not registered.
Because your stake key is not registered. Let me show you. Right?
I see.
Okay. Back down. Because on the governance action, you see the stake key hash. Even though it's not registered, you can see it there. So he used that hash and he registered his stake address. And he paid the 2 ADA deposit that you have to pay when you register that address. Do you see that sometimes when you delegate the first time to a stake pool, you have the transaction fee and the deposit to register your stake address? This is why it costs 2.17-ish ADA. It's because there's 2 ADA deposit to register your stake address. It's a deposit. If you unregister your stake address, you get that 2 ADA back. And the reason is because you don't want to spam the chain with stake address registration. So you need a deposit for that. It's a certificate.
So the mistake that they did was that they used a new wallet that they never registered.
They never delegated to any pool, so the new wallet doesn't have a stake address registered, and they submitted a governance action with it, and
okay,
obviously that stake address wasn't registered. You see that command here? The stake address info would be the CLI way for you to know if it's registered. If I query my stake address info and I use my stake address and I see this, it is registered. Because even if it's not delegated to a stake pool or its voting power to someone, if my stake address is registered, those two fields will show no. But it will be registered. If it is not registered, I'm going to generate stake address keys real quick. Let me just hold on. All right, so I got this stake address. So what happens is that if I query an address that's not registered, you will see this. So I did a query on chain with that stake address. It's not registered. I don't see it. It's not there. But it can be registered without being delegated. And this is what happens on your wallet when you don't see it. When you delegate to a pool for the first time, it will do two things. It will register your address, so you will have a registration certificate for your stake address, and you will also have another certificate which is going to be a delegation certificate to delegate to a stake pool, or another one to delegate to a DREP, right? But you will have those two certificates within your transaction, and that happens in the background, so you don't see it. But yeah, that's what it is. All right, that was it. I hope it was fun.
Thank you very much, Mike, for your time. I hope your work is easy today.
Is what?
Easy. Not too challenging.
Oh, tonight you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's physical work.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm a diesel mechanic. That's no secret.
So you go to work after this?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I'm going to work all night long, and I get back home at like 6, 7.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Always
Tap,
is
all that stuff. And then put them to sleep. And if I'm lucky, I got 30 minutes or an hour of free time to do workshops or watch television with my girlfriend. And then I go back to work again. You know, it starts over and over again.
Oh my gosh.
you don't sleep.
I don't sleep much.
Wow.
I'll be honest with you. But sometimes I skip meetings, or I just tell those people, sorry, I'm not going to attend because I'm exhausted. But hey, that's life. I mean, you know, the kids will grow up eventually, and it's going to be easier, but it gets easier every day, so I can't complain. My youngest daughter stopped trying to lick the power cords, so I'm fine. You know, trying to play with it with a fork. You know, I'm not that type of guy who's gonna look at her saying like, "Oh, she'll learn." No, no. I mean, like, don't do that, stupid brat. But anyway, I traveled a lot last year, and it added to the workflow. And what people don't realize is that, oh yeah, well, oh, you're getting paid to travel and everything. We don't get paid for our time. They pay for our
No.
traveling. They pay
Yes.
for the hotel and everything, but they don't pay for
hmm
the money that you need to put bread on the table.
Yeah.
And what you do, you have to take vacations. And then you go 1 week to Longmont, and then another week to this place, and then, oh, constitutional convention, and you have to go through your vacation time of my everyday job. Oh, it's fine. They pay for the airplane, they pay for the hotel, but they don't pay for the money I'm not making at home.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I mean, I like that. That's, for me, it's like, I could see it as free time, even though it's work. We all know it's work. In Buenos Aires, you guys, if you went there, well, Archella, you went there, right? It is work.
Yeah.
It is work.
Yeah, it is.
But
It
you
is.
represent the community.
Like we are super passionate about it, so
Yes,
it doesn't feel like it, but it's work. Yeah.
but it is work.
Mm.
You guys did, literally, you crafted the Constitution, and most of it, a lot of it, during that week. right? And you push these guys back in the corner because they were expecting us to take less time, and it took them the entire week. It was great,
Yeah.
but it was work. So everyone who believes that it's like free time, vacation, whatever, I didn't visit at all. Everyone asked me like, "Oh, what did you see? What did you see? Did you visit something?" No, I have not.
Yeah.
That was just the Constitutional Convention. Every day, every single day, us trying to convince or like ask our delegates, like, can you ask this question? Can you ask that question? Because this is our working tool,
Yeah.
the Constitution. As ICC and maybe CC, we don't know, maybe. Oh God, you have no idea what happens internally and privately. I mean, like, I'm preaching to the shore, to the choir. Sorry, that's choir the word. Our group is amazing, man. I mean, like, we're literally every single thing that some people I'm not gonna name trying to hide from the community or trying to, make pass like in a sneaky way. We just see it and we just shout it out. And you know who these guys are. And people like Jenny, Beatrice, Adam, Rick. I mean, like, these guys are amazing. And I love this group. It's just that when I believe that enough people will be able to do these things, I'm going to resign from my position, not because of them, not because of some unexisting arguments I have with them. That's not true. And I know some people are going to scrape for that. They're going to say, oh, maybe, they had an argument. No, I just don't like politics. I like governance. And these are two different things. Well, you can't do governance without politics. Yes, I know. But I like the technical side of it. I like to show people how to climb the hill, to be on top of the hill. I don't want to be the guy on top of the hill. I just don't like that.
That'll be your Satoshi moment. That's your Satoshi.
As a matter of fact, I fucking hate politics. I hate it so much. Really, I mean, like, I'm Canadian. I don't like conflict. Right? I don't like it. And sometimes we don't have a choice. We have to fight. And these guys fight the good fight. So I don't know what they plan to do within my own group. They're probably planning on staying. I would vote for them. Dude, I mean, like, they are the good guys of the ecosystem. You want these guys to be up there. You want these guys to be up there. Believe me. Because sometimes they force some entities to go transparent, because if they don't, they're getting shout out. They're getting shout at. Or, I don't know how you say that properly in English, but God. These guys are the one doing it. You want people like that up there. This is what you want. But that's my own opinion. Some people might say I'm biased. I'm going to leave this constitutional committee. I don't know when I feel comfortable that you guys are going to be the ones showing to the rest of the community how to do this. That's my goal. I just want to show the people who's going to show the other people how to do it. And if you do it right, you can literally, I mean, like Sevens, I know you're good at GUE. You could literally build a phone app to do that, to do at least the voting through their wallets. You have those knowledge, right? So I'm just here to show you those principles so you guys can use it later to make better stuff. And if I can make this, then for me it's mission accomplished. And I'll be able to just resign and feel free to leave without being worried or concerned that the people who presents themselves without knowing at all how these credential works will end up at the top of the pyramid and do stupid things like losing their keys or endangering the entire community by losing control over their credentials. And that's it. That's why I'm doing this. So anyway, it was fun, guys. Thanks for coming. And I'm going to stop right there.
Thank you, Mike. Have a good night.
Thank you,
guys.
Mike.
See you next
Bye.
Thursday. Hope you're going to be there.